When I first started this class, basically what I thought the plague was nothing more than, you know, what everyone else thinks when they hear the word plague. So I asked a couple of my friends to kind of prove that point, that no one really knows the context of all these plagues.
So McKenna, what do you think the plague, when you hear the word plague, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Death.
Bubonic.
Disease.
That really bad disease in like the 1400s or something.
Dying.
Sickness. Sweating. History.
I think of dead bodies in the
No,
street.
yeah, that happens.
Everywhere.
No, that's a real thing.
Bleeding.
The bird flu. 1892, English was struck with the bird flu. Literally took out millions of people. Can't believe it.
No, but really, like, all these people really had no idea, much more than death. You know, the basic things, dying, blood, the main things that come to mind. The main thing that came to my mind before I actually got into this class.
You bastards.
People don't realize the amount of devotion to Christianity and kind of the extremes that people went to when they first found out how serious the plague was and how they thought, you know, God was punishing them. Something that I found was actually crazy was fraudulence movement, when people just whip themselves in the street.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm kicking my ass! Do you mind?
My favorite part of the class was probably when we worked on our presentations with the group on every plague that's ever happened before. So, well, they weren't really plagues, but, you know, like diseases. And my group did polio, and it was really interesting to kind of learn about the history of it. And my favorite part of it, personally, was the presenting. I like talking in front of people, so.
Oh, you think you fancy?
I had a really good time doing that. Our group worked really well together. We got a lot of information. We tried to make our presentation kind of creative, but it was kind of difficult. But we threw in some funny stuff in there to kind of lighten the mood. It was really fun learning about all the other presentations, all the other diseases, and seeing how hard some people worked, and really showing that it paid off in the end. The exams went really well, and in the end, I feel like I did pretty well on those.
We did it! Oh, man!
How did we do it? I have no idea. I don't understand.
One book that that probably stood out the most was The Plague by Albert Camus. And it really stood out because it kind of it brings out the best and worst sides of humanity when struck with crisis right away. You have people that want to flee but can't and think their lives are over. You have people that will stay and help. And so I asked my friends a couple questions to see what side of humanity would they be on.
But you have a chance to stay back and help because you're very smart and intelligent and you think you could help. Would you stay and help the poor people that have the plague, or would you flee?
I would probably flee.
Probably flee for the good of
Honestly,
yourself.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I don't think that's mean.
I'd like to say I'd stay, but let's be real, I'd leave.
Exactly.
Stay and help my people.
Oh yeah?
Definitely.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Not a lot of people would do that.
I know.
You're a very kind-hearted girl. Wow.
So I'm a doctor, correct?
Yeah.
Well, it's a plague. There's sick people. Am I gonna sit there on my ass and not make any money? Or am I gonna find all these sick people and see how many bucks I can make? You know, I got so many people that would throw money for their lives.
Yeah. But would you rather survive and flee, or would you, be almost like a saint?
Oh, I'm going down with my city.
You're going down with the
I'm not a
city.
saint. I'll make all the money. I'll cash out.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm going down with my city.
That is a unique take.
Something that I found was really interesting in the two movies that at least I'm choosing to talk about were the roles that women played and how they drastically changed from I walked with a zombie to like movies like 28 Days Later or Dawn of the Dead, more modern movies. Back in 1943, women didn't really play a very large role other than kind of the damsel in distress. And they just kind of fell for, you know, the main male character, no matter how big of an asshole he was.
You gotta be sincere.
But as we got closer to more modern movies, similar to like Omega Man, the woman characters start to become more independent, you know, kind of more badass actually, like more prominent characters that, you know, were more individualistic and could, you know, handle themselves instead of looking to just the men to kind of save them. Something that I thought was really interesting in Omega Man is where Neville was kind of, at the end, pictured as the savior in the movie, especially when the last scene of the movie is him kind of pictured as Jesus on the crucifix. I thought it was actually kind of comical.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
But I mean, it kind of made sense considering that he did give up his life to save the rest of humanity and any hope for humanity, but it's also like, he's an actor, he's not Jesus Christ. But it was, still thought it was pretty interesting. One of the assignments that was kind of weirdly one of my personal favorites was our main essay for the course. I wrote about Bernie from Night Surf and Father Panelo from The Plague, and something that I found really interesting was that they weren't really affected by Something that I found was really interesting was that they weren't really affected by the plague itself. There's a lot of evidence in the text that suggests that the way they act isn't actually how they feel. The student survey that we filled out in the beginning of class, I kind of had a very shallow version of, what the plague was. Kind of like my friends in the beginning of the video. You don't really associate it with much more than death and suffering. But now when you kind of analyze all sides of it, you can bring a lot of positive and even more negative, like the darkest side of humanity, like how everyone's first instinct is to get the hell out, when in reality, we should be helping out our fellow man, and we're always looking for a scapegoat. We're always, it's just kind of what humanity is, and as much as that kind of sucks, there's, if more people, I feel like, took this course and understood that and kind of saw the analysis of that, we would see a difference in the way that people act today. And I've honestly grown as a student in that I can now see things in a much different light, and I think this course has really really helped me grow in an intellectual sense, at least in analytical sense. Said all that, I think I'll sum it up with a couple final last words from my friend Quinn that I think really defined this class.
The plague is something that just strikes a community, and with that, all the moving parts of the community, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, and you just see how everybody takes a role. I mean, what's your role?
Turn your magic on. When she'd say everything you want to dream away.